All right, you guys, I'm super excited. We are having our Monday night meetup and we're talking about action. We're kind of pivoting. We spent a few months talking about some of the four pillars, which is recruitment, retention, and duplication. And we talked, like I said, a lot about those for a few months. And so we're kind of pivoting a little bit into kind of what our topics are going to be about. So tonight I'm talking about action. And action, it can cover a ton of things, but what I really wanted to focus on for us as a team, and these are things that I myself am kind of had reflection on. I've talked with some of my level ones about this, and I know as we step into the holiday season, and even like mid-month, anybody else kind of already sleep like sinking into like that mid-month funk where it's kind of like, all right, the excitement of the new month is worn off. It's kind of, for me at least, it's getting dreary where we live, and then we're like already prepping for Thanksgiving next week because it's so early this year. It feels like, how it falls. And so it's easy to kind of like write off this middle of the month timing until we get to the Black Friday special or until that Black Friday product is released or until there's, the big end of the month push after Thanksgiving, right? So it's really important, I feel like, for us to always try to be in a mindset of action, like have just like this habit, not really mindset, have habits for action. And I think that truly comes with having a plan. If you know anything about me, I'm a planner. I like to have a plan. In a perfect world, when I'm not stressed, when I'm not, like crazy mom life, then like I feel like, okay, my life's together. I usually am really good about having a plan for what my days look like. And so I'm going to share some tips. These are things, like I said, have been fresh from like stuff that I have really just like started implementing to get a little bit more organized. Even after like all of these years of being in it, like you're still learning something new, still learning different, strategies, ways to be organized, ways to be on top of things, but also things I'm helping my level ones try to get in a habit of as well. So we hear it all the time. Action cures everything. Action cures everything. If you feel like nothing's happening in your business, take a step back and reflect on your action. And I'm not pointing fingers at you guys, I'm pointing fingers back myself. When things feel still, take a step back and look at, okay, what is my action looking like? Because action is going to fix it all. As soon as you start running the race, things will happen. As soon as you start sharing more, things will happen. It never fails. It's always going to happen. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And then the opposite of not like because you're not in action, it's usually because you don't have a plan of action and you're not allowing yourself the time to get organized and hold yourself accountable. And that lack of planning is keeping you paralyzed because you don't have a plan. You're sitting there going, I don't know what to do today. I don't know what to post today. I'm not feeling it. Like it allows for all of those dips in your week to be like, oh, I don't have my makeup on today, so I can't take a pretty selfie, or something like that. And that may not be the case for you, but I know it has been for me. I have to try to be intentional about certain things in order to keep my business flowing every single day. So just a couple things like that. Action will cure it all. Let me go back to my notes on my phone. So the first thing that we've talked about this a few times, and I think I have even trained on this a little bit before, but it's time blocking. And time blocking, if you're new to it, it's simply just looking at your calendar at a glance, whether that's a week at a glance, whether that's a month at a glance, whether it's just your day to day, like you're sitting down in the morning or tonight, maybe, and you're looking at, what's your schedule for tomorrow, but looking at your schedule, looking at your planner. And that what I like to do is I like to make sure I have first all of our standing appointments, all of our standing meetings. If you work, then block off the hours that you work, 7:30 to 4:30, 8 to 5, whatever. Or if you work, a night shift, I leave the house at 6:15, whatever. But block off those times so that okay, this is when I am unavailable. For me, that's when I have different Zoom meetings for work throughout the day. That's when I'm taking my kid to dance class. That's when we have Wednesday night church. That's when, okay, I know I have my kid has a doctor's appointment or I have a doctor's appointment. I'm just like marking off those time slots and I'm giving myself windows before and after if I have to travel or whatever. But I'm making sure that my time that I know for sure is accounted for is there on the calendar. It's a non-negotiable. those are the things I have to do, because then I can look at my week and map out, okay, when am I going to work my business? For me today, I had a personal like girls trip. We went to a different town and went to a Christmas shop, and I knew like 2 or 3 weeks ago that was the date, and because we looked at different dates, and I was like, nope, can't do that date, can't do that date. I was like, okay, Monday's the day. So I had that blocked off as like, all right, today's gonna look different. So I started last night prepping for sending invites, making sure I at least did some invites for Monday night's messenger event, instead of, oh my gosh, it's 4 o'clock and I'm now home from car rider pickups, and all of that lack of planning, like I said, would leave me sitting here going, well, I didn't get a chance to message anybody, so I guess I'll. But at least I knew last night I started and I sent some. And if I had time today, I could send some. And maybe I'll have people reply tomorrow, or I can still send some. Hey, you want to get some info? I don't have to tell them that, like, the event was yesterday. Sorry. I'll be like, no, we popped them back in, right? So having those things on the calendar, and that's just a part of life. I mean, everybody has a different organizational system of how they keep up with stuff, but when you have it, and for me personally, when I have it in front of my face, whether that's a digital calendar, whether it's a paper calendar, even if it's like a written out to-do list of the day and in the time order of what you're doing stuff, that helps so much, because and you're holding yourself accountable. When I write that in on pen in my calendar, or on my calendar, that from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, or from 12:30 to 1, there's the gold call. Then I hold myself accountable, and I know I've got to hop on, right? Or I know if I miss it, then tomorrow watch recording of gold call. I'm already blocking off times to do that and fitting it in my schedule. So that's the first thing. It's just mapping out when you can do your business. And that may not look like every day. I know there's lots of people on here at different schedules. Allie, you're literally like smack dab in the middle of my Zoom. And I know that looks totally different for you, because you have long, long days, or you have school or whatever. And then but you may have like a 2 hour chunk to be able to do some like heavy lifting work on another day. And that's so different whether you are a stay-at-home mom, retired, you work out of the home, whatever it may be. I've been through the teacher phase of trying to find true nooks and crannies. And then I've been in now the stay-at-home mom slash work from home mom phase. And so it looks different. But anyways, so time blocking, finding moments in your week to put your business as a priority so you can take action. So next thing that I'm going to highlight is posting. And it's so crazy, because posting for a lot of us is kind of like the safe route. We're like, oh, I posted today, and like it makes you feel like I worked my business. I posted, right? It is a part of your IPA, but that's just like a small piece. And too often we, myself included, post and we write it off as like, okay, I did something today because I at least talked about Plexus and I kept my business doors open, like I said, which is important. It is a part of the IPA. So don't like write it off. But even though that's the easiest kind of like escape route to do, it's also sometimes the most forgetful, because before you know it, the day has passed. And if it was a super busy day, then you're like, I didn't even do anything on social media today. I didn't post, I didn't get my stories. And then sometimes myself, I'm not judging anybody else. I'm talking literally like preaching to myself, and habits I've had that I'm trying to improve on. I end up just slapping something up there. Like I literally do. I'm like, okay, well, let me go. Like I've got something saved that I copy and pasted, and then it's not really from my heart. It doesn't feel genuine, and I'm taking a picture that I don't like. I don't like it, or maybe I'm finding an old one or something. Just, which is fine. You can use old pictures, but it just doesn't feel like I put much, in my mind, thought or care about what I'm going to say. It's like I just slap something up there, and then if I'm not feeling it, then sometimes I don't even hop in my stories. And I don't want to say I'm not feeling it, but like if it's 9 o'clock at night and I'm tired, and I'm like, crap, I sat on 5 Zoom meetings today, and like I was at my computer all day, but like didn't, get to Plexus sharing my stories just because of work and whatever else, then I may be like, all right, I'll try again tomorrow. But okay, even though it's the easiest, it's sometimes also the one that we forget and we write off. So here are some things that I think would be super helpful if you find yourself in those scenarios. Some of this may not even be applicable to you, so you do your own thing, but these are just some helpful tips to make sure that we remain in action during the holiday season as we get going. So sharing on social media is definitely the go-to business activity for majority of us, probably because it feels like the safest compared to messaging and reaching out and putting yourself out there in a very private, one-on-one space. Um, but um, some things that you can do is screenshotting, or these are things that like I'm doing. Also, here's some tips. Screenshotting ideas that you see. So I was doing that, especially while I was on the cruise and I had some downtime to actually be on my phone for fun. If you guys don't know, I work in social media, and so I'm on my phone a lot, but unfortunately, it's for a lot of other people. So then when I get to mine, I'm like in burnout mode of like, oh my gosh. So really, I am the type of person that's like, what am I going to post today? Because I've already posted for like four other people and did all the comments on that and this, I'm like, okay, well, here's my page. Like, so I gotta put my page as a priority. So something that I'm doing is I'm screenshotting posts that I like, or I'm making sure that I'm saving like testimonies and I'm like, oh, that'd be really good to share on my personal page. And I just keep a library. And here's the thing that I like, literally, you guys, a light bulb just went off because my phone album is a hot mess of pictures. At once upon a time, I was organized, but not as organized as I'd like to be. I literally made an album titled To Be Posted so that I had a separate like library of my screenshots, my favorite pictures from our cruise trip, maybe a picture that I took with a plexus sign from convention, a favorite picture that I took with my kids that I ended up not posting on that Sunday when we were all cute for church and I like lost track of it, the testimony pictures, or the screenshots, because if you guys didn't know, when you screenshot something or anything that has text in your photo album, you can copy the text right from your like photo album on your phone and use it from there. And so those are just some ideas that literally I was like, I've had Plexus albums before, but like, why have I never had something like, here's my own personal, posting library ready to go. And I also have a folder on my notes or in my notes that says Plexus post ideas. And really it could be anything like, here's real ideas. If you're doing Instagram reels, here's some real ideas that I like. And you can copy the link, save it. So that way you have like the idea, you've got the audio already, like it's all there. You can do stuff like that. um you can that's where I will save like my testimonies a lot of times so that way I can keep the testimony and the picture together. Otherwise I get lost, like, okay, who's before and after went with this, if it's somebody I don't know their name. So those are just some things that I've started doing, so keeping a to be posted album and screenshotting different ideas, copy and pasting things into my notes section. Even if I have like a moment of inspiration, I'll write stuff out in my notes section because come Thursday afternoon, I'm probably not going to be as inspired as I am Monday morning ready to go. So it's like, let me get some, words off my brain, or maybe I heard something at a training or on another corporate call or on our gold call, or maybe I just saw a quote and I was like, that's good. Let me write that down, screenshot it, save it for a rainy day. You don't have to post it today, but when you have a library like that, you're able to line out what you're going to post and when you're going to post it. Now, you can deviate, obviously, like if you're in the mood for something else, you can, whatever. But this I feel like has been helpful for those days when my makeup is not done and I haven't washed my hair in 3 days, and my kids were running me ragged today, or I like those moments when I look up and it's 9 o'clock and I'm like, I did not post. What am I gonna, it's like, oh, I have a library and I haven't shared a testimony in about 3 weeks. So maybe today I'll make it a testimony Tuesday, or whatever. Like I have that ready to go. And that way you don't have an excuse of not posting on your social media pages for a long time. And that's also not just Plexus posts. You can find other posts that inspire you. Like I said, other quotes. I personally like going and looking on Instagram for like my niche and like post or people who are sharing the same kind of thing as me. And I'll screenshot reels. Like I'll screenshot, okay, what was the text on their reels? And I'll take that in and morph it for myself and change it towards more like me, and whatnot. But like I said, have a library of ideas and then find a posting schedule or a posting flow that works for you. And that, like I said, looks different. You can do a theme every day or like every day of the week. You can do a theme where on Mondays you share something motivational. On Tuesdays, you share a piece of your health testimony. On Wednesday, you can share workout Wednesday, like a selfie of you doing a workout, or like here was my workout for today. And you can share like whatever it was. Wellness Wednesday, I don't know, whatever. Thursday could be, it doesn't have to be like thankful Thursday. It doesn't have to be like the same as the day, but you can have a flow where you're like, all right, on Thursdays, I'm going to share a business testimony. Another thing, and I was recently talking to somebody about this, if you feel like your posts are in a rut, you're like, my engagement's down, I don't know what's going on, like whatever, then go back to when your engagement was good and look at how you were posting then. What were you sharing then? How were you sharing then? How often? Maybe how less? Some people it may be that you're posting so much that your stuff's not getting seen as often, depending. The algorithm is different for every person. So go back to maybe and look at what you were sharing when it was good, and then take some notes. How you maybe even as simple as like, how was I writing? Like, was my writing longer then and now I'm not giving as much? Was it super short to the point and now I'm like giving a novel when I write? Like there's a whole list of things that you can do to evaluate that piece of your business with your posting, if you feel like it's in a rut. But definitely find a groove that works for you. Again, I'm just throwing out a bunch of tips. Don't try. I mean, I don't want to be the person that's like, don't try at all, but you'll be overwhelmed. And then, like I said, that's going to end up making you not be in action because you're going to be like, where do I start? So my tip is to take one thing and start implementing it until you create that habit, right? I have had lots of time to train myself on different things. Like social media is just a thing for me now. It's like a daily thing for a lot of us. It's not something we have to think about. We just do it, right? It's like brushing our teeth. We just get on stories and we just do it every day, right? And so if it's not necessarily natural to you or you haven't built that habit, then find whatever system works for you so that you stay in action for that piece of your business. Set a timer when you're going to post, have it ready in your notes, line it out, and you can even line it out in your notes. Here's Monday's post, here's Tuesday's post, here's Wednesday's, so it's ready to go. And if you post the same time every day, like let's say it's 8:30, your kids are finally asleep or whatever, after dinner, post at 8:30 every night. See how it goes. If you got to post at 7 a.m. before you walk in the door as a teacher, have it ready to go at 7 a.m. before you walk in the door as a teacher. Like find whatever works for you, set an alarm so you don't forget, and create the habit so that you can stay in action. The other thing I wanted to touch on is working during the holidays. Um, it's different for everybody. And Jill refers to buckets all the time. There's two buckets of people. There are the people who are going to continue to like bulldoze through the holidays and use that time of maybe being off work, use that time of being in person with people, getting to have the coffee dates, getting to have the play dates, getting to be with more family in person than just on the screen. Like you're going to take advantage of that time and you're going to run with it, or you're going to let being off routine a little bit swallow you up and you're not going to do what you set out to do. And I personally, I think I said this to them on maybe when we were on the cruise in person or at some point. I personally, if you're not in our 60-day sprint group, which I hope that if you're on a Monday night call, then you're in our 60-day sprint group. But I personally love the weekly account of like the action plan that we have. I love the winning day worksheet, but for me personally, I'm learning that I have perfectionistic tendencies. And if I didn't complete the whole day, then I felt like I sucked. Like I was like, cool, another day where I didn't do what I wanted to do. And so I definitely love the weekly, like I guess maybe because my brain, like I was talking about earlier, like my brain sees my planner a week at a glance. Like I'm looking at the whole week. Okay. And I just function that way. And so I love the weekly action plan because if I didn't get it all done by Friday, I was like, okay, mental note, Saturday, if my kid's napping, I'm gonna send out a few more messages. Sunday, I was like, I'm gonna do as much as I can on this sheet, to try to get it done. And so I love that it's all like right there. And it truly honestly makes me feel a little bit more accomplished. Like I can look back and be like, okay, I did, work this week or whatever. And so I like that. And that's something that I think is going to continue to keep us into momentum through all of these different holiday weeks that we have coming up. And I'm going to put this out there. I personally would love to continue doing a weekly action plan, something. I don't know. It's on paper and I got to turn something in. I'll do it. That's probably, the forever student, the former teacher in me where it's like, if I have to turn proof in or whatever, then like, it's just, it's better for me, just saying. So working during the holidays, here's the deal. Um, what did I say? Oh, so having all this plan, the posting plan, the time blocking plan of when you're going to do your IPA, I think it's more important during the holidays than ever because more people are on their phones. A lot of people say, I'll just put it out there, and if your family's different, then that's fine. But I know my family, and I may say I'm unplugging, but y'all, come post Thanksgiving lunch when we're all full and football's on, you look around the room and almost everybody got their phone in their hand. Everybody is scrolling or buying or shopping, right? And so I think we think like, oh, nobody's going to be on. I don't want to bother people. They all sitting on their phones. They're sitting on their phones. It's just how it is. Now they may be, put it in the other room for a little while. Maybe if your family is like high quality time. That's how my in-laws family is. They're very much like they've got activities and they'll do like a mini like Olympics, I kid you not, with like I mean just a lot of things. So it's like they're very quality time. My family's very much let's sit and watch football and just chill. And so the dynamics are different. So when with them, it's like, okay, my phone is put away. But when I'm with my family, I know I can squeeze in work stuff. But think about what that dynamic is going to be like next week for Thanksgiving. Are you traveling all week? Are you hosting? Is your Thanksgiving only really one day, or is it like 4 days in a row of food and family and people in and out of the door and whatever, Yeah. Are we running 5Ks or drinking mimosas? Not the 5Ks. I mean, not a turkey trot for me this year. And so, anyways, so reaching out to like a greater number of people should, I would hope, think like be the goal. So maybe make it a mental goal to like instead of having my action slow down because it's the holiday week, speed it up, right? Speed it up, keep the foot on the gas pedal because right after Thanksgiving weekend, y'all, we're in Magic Week. And the beauty of Thanksgiving being earlier is the fact that like we still have like 4 or 5 days of November left after Thanksgiving to really be able to do magic, have a solid Magic Week after that. And so people are going to be scrolling, whether don't think they are. Everybody's going to have a post go up of their cute Thanksgiving family picture or something. Black Friday sales are going to be everywhere. But at the same time, your posts are going to be competing with all that as well. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just post about the Black Friday stuff, I'll just post, my cute family picture on Thursday and hope that that'll get me good engagement. I usually get lots of likes when I post a picture of my kids. It can happen, but just know you're also competing with the whole world and their cute family on Thanksgiving as well. So don't just settle on the posting. Make a plan to have your follow-up list ready to go. If you're traveling, travel with it. I'm taking my notepad and my planner with me. So have that follow-up list of all these people you've been talking to. Be prepared, have another game plan of what you're going to post about that week. Are you posting about the Black Friday special? Are you posting more about the Slim Up Challenge? I don't know who's running with the Slim Up Challenge, but I am. I'm running like nobody's business with the Slim Up Challenge. Audit, like I said earlier, audit your posts, like go back and look at who's commented and who's liked them and things each day and see and add those people to the list, see who's watching your stories, add those people to the list. I did that one day in the airport because my story views were like through the roof after we'd been on the cruise. I guess everybody likes watching me on the cruise, not necessarily in my kitchen every day, which that's true. I'd rather watch myself on a cruise too than in the kitchen every day. But my views were high, and I was like, I'm gonna write these names down because there were names that I hadn't seen in a long, long time. So I have a list of a ton of people that I've been working with, some of them I've reached out before, some are brand new. So, they're all in different buckets of like, okay, do I have a conversation with them? Do I need a follow up? Are they a business person? Is there somebody like I just need to invite them to an event that we're hosting, kind of things like that. But I have a list of people that I'm working through and I'm continuously adding to it. And so having again that plan so that you can be in action, that is, I think, crucial. So those are just a few of my tippy tips as we're sitting kind of mid-month, as we are all in action with the 60-day sprint with our weekly action plans, and as we're getting into the holidays. I know I talked a lot about like a plan, but the planning, even if you're not a planner, you got to put that lie out there and find a way. You are working a business, you have to have a plan, if you want to move the needle forward and be in action. So step one is the plan. Step two is the action of doing it. So don't get so overwhelmed where you're too stuck making the plan. Don't overthink it to where you don't do it, but have something in place where you're a little bit more organized so that those excuses can kind of lower and your action goes higher and those habits start to create. The more you're in action, the more it becomes a habit. So those are some of my tips. We are a few minutes from ending. So if anybody has anything else they want to add about getting yourself into action and staying in action, having a plan of action, anything action, I'd love to hear your tips or what's working for you or what has worked for you. So feel free to unmute yourself and share if you want. Everybody's quiet. Nope. Okay. I know some of y'all got some tips, but some of them probably the same tip as mine, which is fine. But if any of you have questions, my inbox is always open. I try to get to people as I can, but I'm also trying to not constantly be on my phone. So if I'll let you know, like I'll get back to you if I need to get back to you. And if it's been a while since I've gotten back to you, then message me back and I'll get back to you again. But y'all are more than welcome to reach out to me. Reach out to your upline for anything. If I need to recap on anything that I just kind of flew through, I feel like I talked 90 to nothing with a lot of stuff, but um, always happy to help find organization for you guys to be, yeah, my brain is pretty fried too, um, to help you guys be most successful in the next few weeks as we end 2023 with a bang. So I'm going to stop recording and then let y'all go.